Hello, today I'm going to show you how to reassemble a Shimano 105 ST5601 double front shifter. The reason I took this thing apart was because when I got the bike, it was a used bike, it's not lined up. This is all supposed to be lined up here, so when it's on the handlebars, it's sticking way out to the side. Took it apart, so you can see in this picture, the little C-clip appears to be missing. That was the best guess from my local bike shop. And now I'm just going to put it back together so that I at least have brakes on this bike. I've been trying to poach some off of Craigslist or eBay to replace this piece. If anybody has any ideas on what could be wrong with it, please let me know in the comments. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show you how to reassemble it. Okay, so next step, we're going to bring this little strip that goes to the flight deck. Put it past through here. This little brake piece that holds the line in, we're going to just push it back into place. Alright. Now the piece that holds this ribbon kind of snug in there are these pieces. So this one is like this. There's a little screw in there. And on this side, same thing. This little flat piece is going to point down. We'll screw it together. Oh, strip came out. There we go. Okay, and that's what it looks like when it's all tied down. The strip goes in through the bottom in there. Okay, this next piece takes a little finessing. This hole here needs to line up with this hole right here. Push it on a little bit. There it is. And we'll use a little black screw that came out of there. Okay. Okay, so next step is to get this little ribbon cable through the bottom here and back out this side so that we can tie it down. It's a bit of a tight fit, so might need a flat screwdriver. Push that tab through. There we go. Okay. Now setting this little return spring for the brake lever is probably the trickiest part of this whole process. I'm going to try to show you how I did it here. Since this is on the left side, this little piece sticks out, the little arm. It's going to want to go through this hole on the left side here. So it looks like that once it's in there. So it's on that little sleeve in there. Now the tricky part too is putting this part on, because this is how we set the spring tension. So down in here, the little straight piece of that spring sits on this edge in here. So basically, let's see if I can do this. So I have this little poker. I'm going to basically wedge underneath that spring Get it? Oh, try again. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to have spring tension on there while I'm using that little poker to keep the piece straight. Sure, we can see in there. You can kind of see it there. It's tricky. Now you can see that just the end of that little spring is in there. That's where it's going to sit up against when you use the brake lever, it returns. Now we're ready to install the pin back into the side here. Okay, so now we got to insert this pin back in there, and you can see that that screw, little stop screw, is going to fall into this groove on this pin. So as long as you didn't work this screw back in, it should be good. Meanwhile, this whole time I've been keeping pressure on the component to make sure that that spring doesn't slip back in, because it's very easy for that spring to go back into the inside and not have that spring tension anymore. So, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so now that's pretty much flush. See there? Now we can set this limit screw, and this is a 2mm Allen wrench. Okay, so finish pushing that screw back in, and you can see we got tension, spring tension. Yay! Okay, next is the cover for the flight deck ribbon cable. This has 2 black screws. To sit in that groove. There's a little groove in there that this sits on, just like that. I want that in there so that this sits nice and flat. Last step is just putting this other nut on the top here. It's a tiny little washer. It does have little flat sides on it, so it does only go on in a specified way. Like that. Put that nut on. I got my 8mm socket here. Tie it all back on. Okay. Okay, last step is putting this little cover back on. So first I'll put this little plastic piece, not entirely sure what it does. It does fit in this little groove. Okay. And if you're wondering how tight to put that nut, it's about 2 lines exposed. So it doesn't need to be on super tight, but it's about how tight I put it. And put this really nasty looking cover back on. Alright. If anybody has any suggestions on how to clean this green stuff off the cover too, that would be great. Put it in the comments. Put the screw on. Okay, we're done. That's how you assemble one of these. Shimano 105 ST5601. I know the 5600 is very similar to this. And yeah, hope you were able to learn a couple things. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. and subscribe. Thank you.